So, hello. Today we are talking to Martin Rabel, and you have been our guest previously, 4 years ago, at our podcast already, because you were surprised to be interviewed about the C64 version of Farming Simulator, which was originally thought to be a joke, but you released it as a physical release anyway. And now we are following up and want to hear what's new about the new Farming Simulator.
Oh yeah, hi. 4 years. Oh dear, time
Yeah,
flies really,
true.
really fast. Thanks for having me again. So we're back at Farming Simulator, like with a non-64 version. I mean, of course, that's how it usually starts. We're at Farming Simulator 22 now. We're gonna have the premium expansion, which is gonna come out in November. Carrots are going to be new, so they're a bit similar to potatoes, I would say, but they actually they've been requested a lot. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what we usually do. We add more stuff to the game. We're gonna also have a new map. It's
Mm-hmm.
called Sri Lanka. It's more located in Central European setting. Also something that has been highly requested. We have a huge number of players there. But we also had Farming Simulator 23 coming out, so it's our mobile version,
Oh.
iOS and Android, and mobile Nintendo Switch, and that's also, I mean, a really nice game to try out. I mean, it's different kind of playing on the mobile phone, but I think, don't know if you played it, but the graphics I think are really nice on the for a mobile game. So it's really
Mm-hmm.
cool.
I remember back then when Farming Simulator was first released on the Switch that some gamers complained it was too much outdated compared to the other versions. I guess you caught
Yeah.
up with the current Switch version there.
Yeah, but without going into too much detail there, I mean, there are also hardware limitations. I mean, it's just we can't just make a Switch game looking like a PS5 game. So
True.
we
True.
we come to a point where there are limits that we can do. We try to push it to the limits, but there are sacrifices that have to be made. Um, Visually, I mean, like the graphic wise, there's something that we have to do. But also like with the machines and the features. Um, but I think we've done good. But yeah, in the end, we're probably all waiting for a new Switch, to be honest. I mean, give us one, please.
I remember 4 years ago we asked about the typical player, and you said that actually you have a lot of really working farmers for a living that enjoy playing Farming Simulator after their work is done on the real
Yeah.
field, and then enjoying the game as well. Is it still the case that you have a lot of real farmers playing the game?
No, I think they're all playing Battlefield now. No,
That's a good one.
just joking. No, of course it's still the same. I think it's even more now. Because that's something that we're really invested in. Like when we create the game, we really look at like this is like these are the people that should really enjoy playing our game. We also keep there's an eye on like the fun of the game. I mean, in the end, farming is not always fun. It's a job. It's your passion. But in the end, that's what I always say is that the farmers in real life they also like that job. Hopefully, most of them. I mean, they've chosen that job. It's not like they've been forced to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
True.
something that I want people to understand. I mean, just like any other job. I mean, people choose to become football players. People choose to become soldiers. People choose to become bomb diffusers. It's still their job. They like it, and they might. A bomb diffuser might play. What is the game called again? That VR game where like keep calm and nobody dies, or anything like that, where they defuse bombs in the evening.
True.
Maybe he's playing that. Farmers play Farming Simulator because they know the game, they know the tractors, and they know the features. So it's still like that, yeah.
Do you have noticed a shift in a new player group of players in the last 4 years? Did something change? I mean, is there a new region of player or a new age group or anything like that?
Not really a new age group, but we we sold more copies than before, so there must be new players. And I think what happened there is that more people realized that playing relaxing games can also be fun. You know, you don't have to be stressed out all the time. You can play a game after you played a stressful game. Maybe even some people got a bit older and they decided to play games that, are a bit more less stressful. I think, and in general, I think the acceptance has grown. I mean, I hear it here at Gamescom that we got a lot of respect. They congratulate us on what we've been doing the last few years, and also like saying like, hey, um, we take it seriously. So they know that we invest a lot in the game, and I think the community and the players, they respect that.
I mean, especially in this field, there are a lot of, games like Bus Simulator, long distance bus simulator. So it's often seen as a cheap margin area where the games are just done every year because people are buying them. But Farming Simulator, on the other hand, as I said, is really taken seriously, almost in the league like a Flight Simulator, I would say.
Yeah, that's nice to hear. No, yeah, there are all kinds of simulators. I mean, some are quickly made, some take their time. I mean, in our case, the last game, Farming Simulator 22, took 3 years to make. Before it was 2 years, but even there we decided that let's take 1 more year because then we can add more. Because every time we release a Farming Simulator, we're also not 100% happy. We're like, hey, we would have liked to add more. Maybe if we take more time, we can add more into the game. And a 2 year cycle is stressful, kind of, because you just released the last game, you're preparing for the next one, and then you have like pretty much like 1 year to finish everything. And with a 3 year cycle, you increase that like by a lot. And I mean, some people, maybe you should just take your time, and that's kind of what we want to do.
Can you talk about what you would like, what you would have liked to add?
On a personal level,
Depends.
I mean, I'm more like a story player, but that's hard for our game. That's probably not in the near future that I see like a full-fledged story in Farming Simulator. But in general, I think I'm really enjoying like these like interactions between players, seeing a bit more like in the online playing with others. Even though I have to admit that I don't really find the time to play online again, but it's more spontaneous. But that's kind of more the personal thing. I'm not saying that this is something that we will see in the future. It's probably more that we're gonna see even more realistic things. Also, like of course, new machines that are going to come into the game. The industry is changing, so we will see more things coming there. I mean, we haven't announced it yet, but I mean, you can imagine that when there's like new types of tractors coming, that eventually they will also come into Farming Simulator. But all in all, there's still, even on the realism side, there's a lot that we can do, and when the machines are getting stronger, we can also implement these things.
But I guess you have to make sacrifices, because I remember back then when I played Farming Simulator in 2019, you even could jump into a supply train and drive the train and stuff. And I mean, but then you have to be careful, otherwise it's turning into a train simulator as well.
Yeah.
So there must be a limit where you say, okay, now we don't want to do this extra step of realism, otherwise we are creating a hybrid of a different game. There's a risk involved, I guess, right?
It definitely is. On our end, I would say we would be quite happy to actually add more of these kind of things, and we're doing it by adding something like production chains. So when you harvest your grain, you can also go to the bakery, sell it there, create buns and then sell them. But that's also something that has been suggested by the community a lot, and something alongside this you can probably see more. I mean, recently we had when you had your trees, and then you got wood, and then from the wood you build a boat, and then we're like, at least something, you see a progress. You're not just selling your stuff, and that's something we like to see, is like a bit more beyond that, because also in real life, the life of a farmer doesn't end with a harvest. There's more to be done. I don't think no one wants to see the whole bureaucracy behind it, like
True.
filling out documents or applying for subsidies or so, but just interaction with like other people in the town, like the bakery, seeing like what actually happens with what you've done. I think that's something that people would still interested in seeing. And of course, with the train, once we go beyond that and we create even more, there will eventually be a point in the community where they are saying like, it's a farming simulator, and we know.
Good point.
They,
Good point.
the point is always that what you usually hear is, don't waste time on this, because they also know our time is limited. And when we spend time on making the train better, something else has to be sacrificed. Definitely, yeah.
You mentioned the community a couple of times now. How about supporting the modding community? What's your opinion on that? You are very supportive for the modding, right?
Yeah. It's a weird question because it's awesome. No. The modding community is great. We support it with the mod hub. We even, we kind of reward them for submitting mods. We're in touch with them. Just the fact that we have people internally that take a look at the mods and QA them, kind of, to say like, okay, they're running, and we can release them on consoles, which was really important for us. And we were one of the first to actually have console mods. I think on PlayStation, we even were the first ones. So that's kind of an achievement.
Wow.
And yeah, you have to make sure that they run. They shouldn't crash the system, because Sony and Microsoft would not be happy about that. Because eventually they will also get support tickets. When a mod crashes your PlayStation, someone might write Sony, and then they write us, and then we are in trouble. So we need to make sure that there's a quality check, and that's also something that I would like the modders and also the community to understand, that we have to take care there that these things run. On a PC, it's a bit different, because it's your PC, it's kind of your responsibility. If you have 2,000 mods installed and your machine can't handle it, it's maybe it's time for other computer, or just remove some mods.
Good
But
point.
in the end, on PlayStation, Xbox, and so, we have to be a bit more careful there. But the mods are a really important part of Farming Simulator.
Now the final question. Do you still have physical releases? I mean, especially in the rural areas of some countries, unfortunately, like Germany, you don't have fast internet. Do you still offer a physical release so people can install it?
Yeah. Also, the premium edition and premium expansion that's gonna come out in November is a physical release, so you can get it on physical releases. And I mean, we're still dedicated to that. I mean, we haven't announced anything yet, but I think you can bet on future releases also being physical, at least for some time.
Yeah.
As long as there are Media Markts and Co out there, you probably have. Well, that's a bold statement now.
So,
But, yeah.
so you don't like the that became normal in the last 5 years, code in a box releases. Yeah.
Well, you mean physical in terms like also like DVDs and so, well, I mean, as long as people still have the disk drives, I mean, we quite like that idea. There might be occasions where it might be useful just have code in a box. There are also markets, it's like, it depends on the market.
Right.
Germany is not really a market where I say like code in a box is like, the ultimate thing to go. But there might be a market in the world where our distributor says like, well, it's just totally common to have code in the box. So we might do it there. But let's just agree on, we're trying to avoid it. We like physical products, and we're fighting for, sustaining them as long as possible. Yeah.
That's nice to hear. So when are you planning to release all the game versions?
What do you mean?
I mean, when is it coming out?
The premium edition.
Yeah.
14th of November.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Sure.
You mentioned before that you're a story guy and into adventures and stuff. And so I've been thinking about, do you planning some spin-offs from the farming simulator, like kind of focusing on some other elements and some other genres, and might be an idea.
I mean, at the moment we're focusing on farming simulator, like
Yes.
the theme in general. I can't. There's not really anything where I would say like we're preparing anything or so. But definitely not like a story-driven game where
Okay.
we're anything like doing like that. But what I can say is that we are like sometimes a really spontaneous bunch of people. If there's the right idea, we can make it happen quickly. Not sure if you've seen like the magazine that is out, the official magazine that you can actually buy at the kiosk. So it's printed. That was an idea that we had last year, and
Okay.
there was a weird question that I once got. That someone asked me, "Did you do a market study and decide it's the right time to release a printed magazine?" And I was like, the question is probably a bit sarcastic now. And I was like, yeah, no, it's definitely not the right time to release a magazine, but we just wanted to do it. It's something we want to give the community. We're not totally focused on pure sales. The magazine was a nice giveaway, and we wanted to do it. So if at some point we decide, okay, there's a nice idea that we can do something else, maybe we do it. Yeah.
Amazing. Cool. Thanks.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that would be all from my side. Thanks for taking the time. Very happy that we had this follow-up. And I wish you a lot of success with your future ideas.
Thanks. Same to you. Yeah.